Lesson 14, solving problems with rational numbers. So on 14.1, you are looking at the 4 different equations and you're deciding which one doesn't belong. So we could say that this equation doesn't belong because it's the only one with a fraction. Or we could say negative 60 times t equals 30 doesn't belong because it's the only one that has a different variable. So it has a t instead of an x. And it's the only one whose absolute value is less than 1. So the absolute value of the solution would be less than 1. We could say x plus 90 equals negative 100. Does it belong? Because it has addition instead of multiplication. And you could also say negative 100th equals negative 1,000th times x is the one that doesn't belong because it's the only one that has a positive solution. You could also say it's the only one with decimals. Also, it's the only one that has the variable on the right side. So there is no right or wrong answer here. There's a reason for each of the 4 equations on why you could say it doesn't belong with the other group. 14.2, draining and filling a tank. A tank of water is being drained. Due to a problem, the sensor does not start working until some time into the draining process. The sensor starts its recording at time 0 when there are 770 liters in the tank. Given that the drain empties the tank at a constant rate of 14 liters per minute, the constant rate's important here, 14 liters per minute, complete the table. So 5 minutes after the sensor starts, we have a change in water of 70 liters. And since it's negative 70 liters, that means the water went down 70 liters. So we know our expression. We started out with 770 liters. And then we have 5 minutes at 14 liters per minute. So that would be 5 times negative 14, which is negative 70. So 770 plus negative 70 means I currently have 700 liters in my tank. Okay, for 10 minutes, what would be my change in water? How many liters? Should be negative 140. My expression would be 770 plus 10 times negative 14. So 770 minus 140 means I currently have 630 liters in my water tank. Number 2, it says later someone wants to use the data to find out how long the tank had been draining before the sensor started. So we can complete this table to determine how long it had been draining. Okay, so 2 minutes, at negative 2 minutes after the sensor starts, so that means 2 minutes before, there was a change in water of 28 liters. And since it's positive, that's because there was 28 more liters at that time. So now my equation would be 770 plus -2 times -14, because it was losing 14 liters per minute. And that would give me 798 liters. -3. So 3 minutes before the sensor starts, my change would be 42 liters. My expression would be 770 plus -3 times -14, which would put me 812 liters. Okay, what about at -4 minutes? So I know my expression would be 770 plus -4 times -14, which would give me 826. So what was the change in water? That was a change of 56 liters. Okay, what about 5 minutes before? So we have 770 plus -5 times -14, which was a change of 70 liters. So my water would be at 840 liters. Okay, number 3. If the sensor started working 15 minutes into the tank draining, how much was in the tank to begin with? Okay, so if we want to know it started working 15 minutes after the tank has been draining, then we want to know at -15 minutes. So our expression would be 770 plus -15 times -14. So that's a change of 210 liters, which puts us at 980 liters. So that means there was originally 980 liters in the tank. On 14.3, a utility company charges 12 cents per kilowatt hour for energy a customer uses. They give a credit of 0.025 cents for every kilowatt hour of electricity a customer with a solar panel generates that they don't use themselves. So if a customer has a charge of $82.04 and a credit of -$4.10 on this month's bill, what would be the amount due this month? So we know they have a charge of $82.04 plus a credit of -$4.10. So that means the amount due this month would be $77.94. Number 2, how many kilowatt hours did they use? So we know it charges 12 cents per kilowatt hour, and their charge was $82.04. So $82.04 divided by our unit price of 12 cents per kilowatt hour, which would be 683.6 repeating. So that means they used approximately 684 kilowatt hours. Number 3, how many kilowatt hours did they generate that they didn't use themselves? So if they're earning 0.025 for every kilowatt hour, and they had a credit of $4.10, so that would be $4.10 divided by 0.025. which would be 164. So that means they generated 164 kilowatt hours. So in lesson 14 summary, it just says we can apply the rules for arithmetic with rational numbers to solve problems. So a minus b equals a plus negative b. So if a minus b equals x, then x plus b equals a. We could add negative b to both sides of this second equation to get x equals a plus negative b, so that we could solve for x. So it says, remember that the distance between two numbers is independent of the order, but the difference does depend on the order. So that means if you're finding distance between two numbers on a number line, order does not matter. But if you're looking for the difference, so if you're subtracting to find like the difference in cost, for example, then the order does matter. When multiplying or dividing, positives divided by a negative is negative. Negative divided by a positive is negative. And if you multiply or divide a negative by a negative, it's always positive. So if the same signs are the same, your answer is going to be positive. If the signs are different, your answer will be negative. If you have an odd number of negatives, so when you're working with more than just two numbers, if you have an odd number of negatives, your answer would be negative. If you have an even number of negatives, then your answer would be positive.